Diet culture fools you, and if you're anything like me, you're sick, fed up and frustrated of that. In today's video, I'm going to show you how it fools you and how you can change that starting right now. If you're anything like me, then you have been fooled, you've felt frustrated, you've maybe even felt angered about being fooled by diet culture, and this is not uncommon. And at the end of the day, if you want to continue to be fooled by diet culture and let those sneaky tricks continue to push in the wrong direction, then by all means click off this video and go and watch somewhere else.
Goodbye.
Now, I have eaten until I was sick, I have starved myself, I've wasted thousands of pounds on needless and useless supplements and wasted countless hours of my life in time that I will never get back. If that sounds familiar, then let me show you how you can start changing that right now. The problem is that this is the norm. 98% of people who go on a diet fail within 2 years, and more actually go on to gain more weight than they initially started with. So if you want to avoid that, I suggest you stick around to the end of the video and get the notepad out and get ready to take some notes and start implementing a step-by-step plan to make some change. A perfect example of this is our client James. Now, he had been going on a cycle of trying to gain and lose weight for over a decade. Now, he had reached out to us in the Fat Loss Forever programme, and since around 10 months ago, he's been able to drop over 70 pounds. Why? By creating some simple, easy to stick to processes that actually get results. Not by putting them on diarrhea teas or forcing him to take supplements or doing anything crazy, but by actually changing his lifestyle and behaviours. So if you want to, like James, have the skills, tools, resources and knowledge to fuck the likes of Herbalife and the supplement companies off and actually do something that doesn't mean you're doomed from the start, then let's get into the list. If you like no BS and health information and you want to stay on track, get lean, get fit and get healthy, do not forget to subscribe. The first thing that you have to do based on the research in order to be successful is some form of behaviour change. But what does a diet teach you? A diet teaches you to cut something out or replace X with Y or just don't eat this. In the case of, like, say, Herbalife, just replace 2 meals with drinks. It doesn't teach you anything. There's no skills, there's no fundamentals, there's no understanding, there's no actual knowledge base that you can go on and replicate for a very long time. So it teaches you nothing. Now, you can look at every diet there is. Keto, carnivore, vegan, low carb, low fat. You'll find a success story for every single one. And that's because every human being is different. You throw enough shit at the wall and some's going to stick. But that may not be for you. Just because Jim from the office lost 40 pounds on keto doesn't mean that you can do the same. So let's look at again the behaviour change in a diet. What happens when the diet stops? If you've just been replacing 2 meals with 2 shakes, what happens when you get sick of that? You're just going to go back to old habits because you haven't learned anything. So let's look at the actual behavioural changes you need to make in order to be successful based on the data. Looking at the data as a whole, we have physical activity, including less screen time as well. Now, physical activity just doesn't have to be in the gym. It can be general movement, playing sports, things like that. Less intentional dietary episodes, so less times you actually intend to go on a diet. More time spent at maintenance weight, and also more frequency of self-weighing. Now, that's some simple behaviour changes that have been shown and proven long-term to lead to success. Now, the second part for me on this and being successful, and the studies and research again points to the same, is some form of accountability. So there was a landmark study done called the Look Ahead study, and they studied participants over an 8-year period. They gave them general advice, and there was intensive specific advice with follow-up. So the first group received 3 one-hour meetings across the period of a year with general advice around training, nutrition, diet and exercise in years 1 to 4. And that reduced to 1 meeting per year for years 5 to 8. Know what you're thinking, that's not a lot of information. And of course, the results were underwhelming.
You all gained 5 pounds back.
Damn it, come on.
The intensive follow-up group received a small group meeting 3 times per month for the first 6 months. That then dropped to once per month for the remainder of that year, and then afterwards they met once per month for the remaining 8 years of the study, and also received an individual session twice per month with either a registered dietitian, an exercise specialist, or a psychologist. And they were coached through specific things like motivational interviewing and lifestyle and things like that to make sure that these people were on track. Well, the results are pretty clear. Of those who lost greater than 10% of their body weight, by year 8, 39% in group A had maintained at least 10 or 5% of that loss, and in group B, with the follow-up, 65% of people had maintained at least 10 or 5% of that loss after 8 years. So you can see the difference that going from general advice to accountability and having some form of system in place actually almost doubles the success rate. So firstly, behaviour, second, accountability. So how do you put this into practical use? Simple. Focus on progress. Focus on getting better as a human being. Sticking to a plan, following something that's realistic. You're not going to change your behaviours overnight. There has to be an acceptance of that. If you focus on the process, i.e. going to the gym, getting your steps in, sticking to some form of nutrition plan, showing up to a group, whatever it is, on a regular basis, and having that accountability, you will get the outcome by default. We, for example, run a competition on our Fat Loss Forever program where we focus on the process. People get points for completing check-ins, sticking to the workouts, contacting a coach, and everyone who does it and gets high points in the leaderboard completely transforms their life. Why? Because they're hyper-focused on the process, not necessarily the outcomes. Final point on that is the accountability aspect. Obviously, getting a coach is not something everyone can do. My advice is try and get a coach for a period of 6 to 12 months where you can really focus on building some habits, behaviours, and creating momentum. Once you have that, then you can take those skills and replicate them beyond. Getting into a setting where you're being pushed or you're in a group or something along those lines is going to skyrocket your chance of success. And if you want some details on the biggest piece of the puzzle that most people get stuck with, go and check out this video next, which is how to eat for fat loss. I break down step by step the foods you should be eating and how to put that into your own fat loss plan. Also, don't forget to subscribe. See you all in the next one.
And action.
Gonna skyrocket. Bastard.